Welcome. Today I'm going to be talking about passion and pain and how they really don't have to go together when you're a musician. Unfortunately, they often do go together, and the more passionate a musician gets about music making, unfortunately, the tighter they can get, and that can lead to pain. So that's our topic for today. And if you don't know me already, I'm Jennifer Roig-Francolí. I'm the mind-body violinist. And I'm also the host of the Mind-Body Practice Tribe, which is my free Facebook group where we discuss all kinds of mind-body topics related to music making in the context of the Alexander technique. I'm a professional violinist. I've been playing violin for my whole life, feels like forever, since I was 4. And I'm also a double certified Alexander technique teacher. And that's really, those two things are what I do. I perform, I teach, and I help musicians get over their physical and emotional barriers to enjoying their music making. So come on over and join our tribe if you're interested in these topics. I posted a link at the top of this post. And so let's just dive into this topic, okay? It's a big one. It's a huge topic. We could talk about it for weeks, but I'm going to try to make it relatively short. So let's start with what you want. You want to be expressive, right? You want to make music and you want to enjoy it. And really, you want to have this passionate love of music that's in your heart, that's in your soul. It's in you, you know it's there, and you want to be able to express it to other people. Even if you're alone in the practice room, most people want to be able to share that with other people. And if you don't want to share it with other people, that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with just making music for yourself. However, even when you're just making it for yourself, you want to be sharing and expressing something of the depth of meaning of that passionate just stuff, that feeling in the music. You want to be expressing it out through your voice or your violin or your piano, your clarinet, whatever your instrument is. You want to be able to express your passion about the music. All right? And it doesn't really matter what piece of music you're playing. It could be a scale. You want to be passionate about that scale, right? Otherwise, it's going to be really boring. And it also doesn't matter what kind of music you play, whether you're a classical musician like me or you play Baroque music on early instruments like me, or you play jazz or pop or rock or whatever. I don't care what kind of music you are into. We all want the same thing. We want to be touched and moved by our music because we're passionate about it, we love it, and we want to express it through our mind-body self and out an instrument, okay? So I think we're all pretty clear on that. And so if that's what you want, just go ahead and put yes. Type yes in the comments. Let's see lots of yeses. And while I'm waiting for the yeses and the thumbs up to fly by, I'm just going to say hello to a couple of my regulars that I see are coming on. I see Nanette and Kay, and I think that's Barb out there. Yes, Barb says I'm here. Hey, great. Thanks for saying hi. And if you're just coming on, I always love to just see who's here. So say hi as you come on, even if you've never heard of what we're doing here before, you're new, you're watching the replay, go ahead and say hi, and maybe just tell us where you're from, because that's just such a really neat thing about Facebook, is you can be connecting with people all over the world at the same time. So yes, these yeses are coming in, definitely. This is what you want. You want to love your music and share it, and you are passionate about it. So you want to play with soul, okay? So what do? What do you do? Just take a moment and stop right now and think about what you do when you start to feel really passionate about your music. What happens when you get really passionate? Let's say you're a violinist. I always talk about violin because that's me. So let's say you're a violinist and you're playing something, I don't care what it is, maybe it's even just row, row, row your boat, but you're getting really into it. this is really soulful music. Or maybe you had a tough day, or you're angry at somebody, or maybe you're kind of depressed one day, or maybe you're incredibly excited because you had the best day ever and you just get to express it through this music that you're playing. Row, row, row your boat, or whatever. Tchaikovsky concerto. Does not matter what piece, okay? But you're getting into it. Can you feel as you get into it? Do you feel, you can probably see me. I mean, you see musicians do this all the time. I don't care if you're a beginner or an elite professional that's been playing for 100 years. You watch musicians get into it. There's usually a lot of stuff that they add onto the music, okay? And this is not just about when people are on stage. They do this in the practice room. They're emoting, right? You know what I'm talking about? So what parts of the body do you see people using to emote? This is a huge question, but I would love to see all of you come up with some answers. Just let's brainstorm. Just give me a whole list of things. Which body parts do you see getting involved when people are showing how passionate they are about their music making? Or a pianist. Visualize a pianist sitting at the piano, and do you see what they're doing? Okay, which parts of the body are showing up? And I just want to say hi to Magdalena, who made it. Glad you made it. Your dog sings along. That's hysterical. Magdalena says my face gets involved. Hey, David. The mouth gets involved. Yeah, a lot of people end up kind of gritting their teeth or getting their jaw tight. Magdalena says shoulders, bending with the upper body. Yeah, so there's there's a violinist, I won't name her, but a very famous violinist who was a prodigy, incredible violinist. But I can't watch her anymore because she does this when she plays, and it's incredibly painful. I feel so much for her. I wish I could help her with Alexander technique every time I see her. But yeah, so bending, using the spine like this, and not using the joints like the hip joints, for instance. Neck, face, neck. Oh, neck is a huge one. In Alexander technique, we're always talking about how the head and the neck relate to each other and how tension starts and ends and everything else in between in the neck. The body sways, Kay says. Yes, and Nan even mentioned the eyebrows in the face. Yes, you see furrowed brows when people are getting really intense. Think about the word intense. You get intensely passionate. Intense. Intense. You get in tension. You create tension when you get passionate, right? Okay, so unfortunately, I hate to break anyone's bubble, pop anyone's bubble here, but I don't really think that's that helpful for your musical expression. Doing all that extra stuff, almost none of it, maybe none of it is necessary. In fact, the less of that extra stuff that we do with our bodies, the better. And I'll explain a little bit about why. But the more you do of that stuff, the more tension you put into your playing, number one, it compromises the quality of your sound. I mean, we all know that when we're forcing, the sound gets worse, right? If you're forcing your voice, the sound of your voice gets worse. That's a no-brainer. But if you don't really notice that you're compromising your sound early on, you're not sensitive to the subtle changes that are happening as you're practicing. Maybe you're just starting out and things are more difficult and you get frustrated, or you really are just loving what you're doing and you love it so much. Today we're talking about love and passion, putting it in that way. Ultimately, I hate to tell you, but passionate can lead to painful. When you are including tension over time, sometimes right away, actually, it doesn't even have to take a long time. But how many of you out there have ever, and I want you to just sort of put in a yes in the comments again. How many of you out there have ever experienced physical discomfort or pain when you're playing your instrument that you know is related to tension? That's the question. How many of you have ever experienced pain or discomfort when you're playing your instrument or singing? It happens to singers too. And you know it's related to how you're playing your instrument, okay? You can put a no in there if that's never happened to you. And I'm glad if that's never happened to you, but Barb goes, of course, and Kay says yes. I want to say hi to Jill, who I just saw is here. Magdalena, yes. I'm a big yes. I've had plenty of my own discomfort, neck. Actually, just go ahead and tell us, where have you experienced the pain too? Have you experienced neck pain? I've experienced neck pain. That's what brought me to the Alexander technique in the beginning. Neck pain and shoulder pain. And I've had shooting sharp pains that go down my arm and up to my pinky, so that when I've pressed on my finger, a shooting sharp pain that prevents me from playing at all. Okay, that's no fun. So yeah, hey Lacey, nice that you're here. Yes, left shoulder, says Lacey. Yeah, I mean, violinists are very familiar with this squeezing thing that we do between the shoulder and the jaw, and we get all tight in our necks and shoulders. So definitely that is a common one. Okay, so the question is, how can you play with passion and soul? How can you do that and not introduce all that extra tension, which can lead to pain? That's the million-dollar question of the day. Here's the million-dollar answer. My answer right now. Play from your center and learn how. It's very, very, very simple. It's actually incredibly simple, incredibly easy. Okay? You can do it. You can learn how to do it in a moment. Alexander was an actor who had a performance issue with his voice. And he did say that you can change the habits of a lifetime in an instant if you use your brains. That's a big if, because you do really have to know how to use your brain in order to have passion and love, huge passion and love, and let it move and pass through your system without blocking it with tension. Because actually, here's the really crazy thing. When you feel passionate and incredibly, wonderfully huge love, very often when you express it, you feel the tightness. You're actually not feeling the passion and the love, because that's a flow. Passion and love, in the best sense, are a flow. It's an energy flow that I can just feel it now as I start thinking about it. I get goosebumps in my legs. It's kind of weird, but it's lovely. I love it. I love this love that just flows, but we're blocking it all the time. For me as a musician, as a violinist, what I want most is to be human. And to be human means you're made of love and light and goodness, and you want to just be able to express that through your being. And we're so lucky to be musicians, because we have this medium with which we can share all of that with other people. And we don't have to use words. We don't have to get into the complication of making ideas specific. We don't have to use words. You know, poetry gets close, but it's still words. And people, it's so easy to misinterpret words. And you can't use a word to really fully express anything, because there's always a limitation when you add a word. I think music comes closer. So I think what we're really wanting to do is just express our shared humanity, which includes all of that positive energy, and we want to be able to express it through an instrument, okay? But if you are feeling the tension, you're not allowing that love to flow and move through you. You're actually blocking it. But it doesn't feel like you're blocking it. It feels like you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing, and it feels like you're into it. And you are. You've gotten carried away. You are into it. You've been carried off of your center. You've been carried away from that central source of that energy flow. You're blocking it, and then it's not real. So that's pretty blunt. I never know what's going to come out of my mouth when I do these things. But as you may have noticed, I get passionate about this topic. And yet as I'm talking about it, because I have this understanding that I've learned through Alexander Technique and other things, not just Alexander Technique. That's why I call what I do the art of freedom. That way I can talk about whatever I want. It doesn't have to be Alexander Technique alone. But really, it's through Alexander Technique that I've learned how to live in a more centered, integrated way to allow that loving energy to flow in a positive way. And if it's in me and I'm not blocking it, then it's in the nature of that goodness to communicate itself through us. Okay, I think that was Plato. What did he say? No, he said the goodness is the splendor of the true. I think Plato said that. Anyway, that's kind of the thing I'm talking about, is that it's in the nature of the good to communicate itself. It's not us. It's the energy. It's that loving energy inside of us that we want to tap into the source of that. And the source of that is deep inside, but then we have to let it do its thing. Our job is to get out of the way of it, learn how to get out of the way of it by undoing the extra stuff that we think is making it expressive. I mean, we talk about, I'm trying to be expressive. Well, quit trying. Stop trying to be expressive and realize the music is already expressive. Our job is just to communicate it, get out of the way and let it flow through us. Okay? And I said it's very simple, it's very easy. It is. It's very simple, it's very easy. You can do it in a second, and I can teach you that. And we do that in the Mind-Body Practice Tribe all the time with the very first Alexander Technique etude, which is called The Cycle. That was created by Mio Morales, Alexander teacher. But that's what I teach my students all the time. We do this twice a day. I do it live in the tribe twice a week at least. And I have a 5-day cycle challenge, by the way, if you're interested in learning more about that. So you can learn that first etude and learn how to be more centered in yourself and bring that into your music making. That's a wonderful, wonderful way to learn how to do this, how to start doing this. Of course, it's just the tip of the iceberg. Alexander Technique is huge, and there's so many techniques and ways that we can apply getting in touch with our passionate, loving center and getting out of the way to express it through music. So if you are interested in all of this, give me a yes. Does this make sense? I always, you know, when I get passionate about this stuff and I just start talking, at some point I'm like, I wonder if this makes sense to everybody listening. So I would love to get your reactions. And they're always delayed with this Facebook Live thing, so I'll give you, a little time to respond. But I'd love to hear what you think about all this that I've just thrown out there. Does it make sense to you? Or am I just this crazy person out there doing my own thing? Which would be fine with me because I'm happy. But yeah, I'm getting a yes from Linda, yes from Barb. Hey, Suzanne, I'm glad you're here. Don't worry about being late. You can watch the replay. Good. So I'm glad this is making sense. And Nan says, yes, makes sense too. Great. All right. So yes, Jill, thumbs up. Yes. Okay. So this is how I feel about it. And I feel very strongly about it. I feel very strongly that the passion of the music speaks for itself. We don't have to add extra stuff, which is just going to lead to extra tension in us, which is blocking the passion of the music actually, because then that energy can't flow. I mean, if you got tight muscles, the energy can't flow through them. It's a no-brainer. You can't, and then ultimately you can create pain in yourself, and you may be completely clueless as to why you have the pain, but this is a big factor in most musicians' pain, sore muscles. It's a big, huge factor because we think we're doing the right thing, getting into it and being expressive and emoting and all that. We think we're doing the right thing and it feels right, but it's blocking everything. So it's a huge can of worms I opened up for you, right? Okay, so I guess I'm done. That's all I have to say for today. But I do really want to encourage you, if you're not a member of the Mind-Body Practice Tribe, just come on over if you're curious. It's free. You have nothing to lose, okay? And then also one more thing I wanted to tell you is that I'm starting to do regular online masterclasses. Many of them are free. They're not always free, but many of them are free. and I have one coming up soon, and the next one is related to this topic that I've been talking about today, which is pain in music making. That's a common topic. There are too many musicians in pain. So if you're interested in that, come take my next free masterclass. You can sign up and get all the details in the link that I posted at the top of this post. And it's happening really soon. So, and it's filling up too. I should tell you that because I'm not quite sure how many people I'm going to allow in there, but I know there's a limit to how many people I want to have because it's not through Facebook. It's through Zoom, which is free for you and very, very easy to use. So please, if you're interested, sign up quick because I may just end up closing it very soon. So it's not too many people. Okay, so any questions? If you've got questions, come on over to the tribe and ask me there. People always have questions and I'm very happy to answer them. And I'm here to help. Okay, so I guess that was the last little thingy I wanted to put up there. Oh no, it's not the last one. There's that one. See, this is a cute new thing that they added to my program where you can have this little thing that tells you it rolls across. I love these little toys. They're really fun. So you can take the master class and join my tribe. And passionate and pain-free when you play is possible. I promise. I've been there. This is what I teach. This is what I know. So come and learn. If you're having pain and issues, just find out more. Just get curious and find out more. So I'll see you over in the practice tribe. Happy practicing and lots of love in every